Is 3 o'clock. I see by clock on the wall, it's now 3 o'clock. Time to call to order the Board of Directors regular meeting for Monday, August 15th, 2022. Could I have a roll call, please?
Director Grasha. Director Sewell.
Here.
Director Duncan.
Here.
Vice President Wright.
Here.
President Martin.
Here.
Thank you. We have quorum.
Okay, would you all stand, and Randy, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
If you join with me, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nancy, would you do the honors, please?
We ask the Heavenly Father in thy infinite wisdom to guide the members of this board in such a way that all their thoughts, endeavors, and decisions be made for the betterment of the entire community. We also beseech thee to protect our country and our people from all conflicts, both foreign and domestic. Amen.
Sounds like a flash flood warning.
I was gonna say,
I got it right here. Let's see.
thinking, wow, is that something now that's gonna protect us from?
Here, alert alert. Okay.
So what was that, a flash flood warning? On
Yeah,
somebody's
yeah,
phone? Oh.
Yeah. A little late for Vegas, though, I think.
But I have my volume turned off.
We have alerts and.
Directors, please use your microphones. There's chatter down there. We can't hear it.
Okay, we're just talking about the alert that just happened
Oh.
on the phones.
Item 4, rules of procedure, Council.
Yes, according to the rules of procedure adopted by the Board of Directors, all noticed meetings are conducted using Rosenberg's Rules of Order as a procedural guideline. Directors should refrain from responding directly to public comments at meetings of the board. The president of the board presides at all meetings and decides all points of order and procedure during meetings. The president is responsible for the maintenance of order and decorum at all board meetings. No person should be allowed to speak who has not first been recognized by the president. No member of the board should speak more than once upon any one subject until every other member of the board wishing to speak on the subject shall have been given an opportunity to speak. No board member shall interfere with the orderly progress of a board meeting. The board president regulates the amount of time to be dedicated to a particular agenda item.
Thank you, sir. Public input, item 5. This is the opportunity for members of the public to address the board on matters within the board's jurisdiction. Please limit comments to 3 minutes or less. State law prohibits the board from discussing or taking action on any item not listed on the agenda. Do we have any members of the public wishing to address the board?
President Martin, there is no public comment.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 6, Human Resources Report.
Let me turn on my microphone here. Would you like me to speak?
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right, it's the time of the month that we always, at least I enjoy recognizing the accomplishments, anniversaries, and special situations and information about our staff, our wonderful and very competent staff, and loyal, I might add. First of all, we have a new hire, kind of a special new hire, Jacob Mosquita. He's now the wastewater treatment plant operator 1. Jacob joined us actually back in August of 2021 as an operator in training, which is what we're doing now, and it's working out quite effectively. Since then, he has gained the experience and knowledge necessary to pass his grade 1 wastewater exam, and is now fully joining the MSWD team. And while he was doing that, he was becoming familiar and acclimated to our district and the way we operate. So here to introduce him is our Chief Plant Operator, Lee Boyer.
Thank you, General Manager Wallen. Good afternoon, President Martin and members of the board. Jacob, yes, he's been here for over a year. He started out as a temporary operator. We provided him training to be able to pass his grade 1 operator exam on the first try. He's now going to start working towards his grade 2. It's a pleasure to have him on, finally as a permanent member on the team, and he's just a sponge soaking up all the knowledge from all the operators above him and myself included. So Jacob thanks us for bringing him on full time, and he's a very shy guy, but he doesn't like to say much. Very quiet. He stays busy all day long. So thank you, Jacob.
All right, thank you, Lee. Okay, next, but I mean, we are doing things a little differently when we're looking to find new quality people, and it's working out quite successfully, as you know. Next, we have certifications and accomplishments, and we're proud to say that Alex Serrano has achieved his water treatment plant grade 2 certification. It's administered by the state board. As you know, I don't think most people know that all of the employees almost here require that they be tested and certified. They usually at least achieve 5 levels of certification. This is a T2, which is in treatment. It's administered by the State Water Board. The certification of water treatment plant operators helps us ensure they are knowledgeable and are correctly operating and maintaining the system to ensure a safe and reliable delivery of water, of our award-winning water. Alex has worked hard to obtain the T2 certification, and we are very pleased with the dedication he has shown in his profession, and we're very pleased with that department in general. Here to introduce Alex is Chad Finch. Chad. Is Chad here?
Mr. Wallem, Chad is not on the meeting.
Oh, excuse me, that was not on my list and I didn't look, so, okay. Well, as much as I can say, I know that the production department has really, really improved. And this is the kind of accomplishments that we're very proud of. Is Alex here then also? Okay,
Alex,
well, they might be out working hard to keep the water in the pipes out there. So I usually like to see if they want to make a comment or not. So with that, we'll move on, okay?
No.
Yeah, that's definitely a no. All right. Then we have anniversaries. Okay. The first one is Claudia Lopez. That's the accounting technician. This is her second year with us. And actually, she's been here now a little over 2 years. She joined us during the COVID pandemic. Claudia started as a temporary employee. She quickly learned the ropes and started making a positive impact. And when it was then brought on full time, she continues to do an excellent job for the district and has shown a great sense of responsibility and ethics. She's very good at what she does and a lot of fun to talk to, which I have enjoyable conversations with her. She's a valuable member of the department and is always available to answer questions and is very graceful and nice to us when she's telling us that she needs us to sign something or get something redone. And we're grateful for her dedication. And here to introduce Claudia is Arturo Saya.
Thank you, General Manager Wallem, President Martin, board members and staff. Claudia is a remarkable employee. She gets her work done and makes sure that it gets done timely and accurately. She has a great sense of integrity and I can always count on her to do the right thing and to point things out when there's any issues, so we can address them sooner than later. And as you know, that's very important in the accounting department. She has learned so much, and the best part of that is she shares that knowledge, and she truly is one of the greatest employees that the district has at this time. And she has declined to speak this afternoon, but we are very grateful for her work and very lucky to have her work for MSWD. Thank you.
Claudia's being bashful. Wow. Okay. I've got to give Arturo a some kudos also. He's put together a really, really fine team. So thanks to Claudia and thanks to Arturo. Okay, next we're moving out to the wastewater treatment plant in an individual that I actually hired 16 years ago, and that's Greg Chapman. He is treatment plant operator 2, and he's been with the district for more than 16 years. He's known as the pond master. That's why he's out there taking care of them every day at the Horton plant. We can always count on him to provide the input for the operations and treatment. And when needed, he's always willing to lend a helping hand to those that need help. And again, to introduce for Greg is Lee Boyer.
Thank you, General Manager Wallen, President Martin, and members of the board. Yeah, Greg's, we've gone through our good times and bad times here in the last 16 years, but I like having Greg here every day. Sometimes his life can be a soap opera, but we enjoy his stories sometimes. So Greg, thank you for being here for 16 years and continue being here and do what you do. Thank you. And Greg has declined to comment, but I have him here just so you all can see him.
I know Greg's not that bashful either. Thanks, Greg, for all the years. Okay. All right. Next, we get to talk about Lee Boyer, who's been here an impressive 22 years. And he's very accomplished, not only here, but with the state, with the agency, the local agency. During his tenure, he has won countless awards for the operations of the Horton plant and his work and his own work through the California Water Environment Association. He plays an integral role in the operation of our plant and has helped with the design of the new regional plant, providing guidance and input on how we will incorporate it into the overall wastewater operations of the district, which is something that is extremely important. And most engineers, after they design their first plant, they know very well that they need to bring people like Lee into that design in order to get it right. So here to introduce Lee is Brian Macy.
Thank you, General Manager, President Martin, members of staff, board members. Yes, Lee's been an integral part in the design of the regional plant as well as operating the Horton plant. You know, it's one of those situations where not only has a strong district connection and some of the things that he does, but also a family connection, which has led to why he's part of so many of the outside organizations and been able to grow the organization so well because of his contacts. We talked about the California Environmental Association, but also he's very active in the Corbs or Colorado River Basin section, which we just recently participated in, where a couple of our staff were recognized in that, as well, of course, as the multi-state training and education event that's held every year, which I believe, Lee, you can correct me, but I think we had over 1,000 in attendance in our the last event, which was held last week, which he was a part of. So with that being said, his tremendous efforts have led to the successful design of the regional plant. Look forward to having Lee there when we start treating flow. Lee, would you like to say a couple of words?
Sure. Thank you, Brian, General Manager Wallen, President Martin, and members of the board. To correct you, Brian, we actually had over attendees alone. We had over 2,300 attendees. All in, we had about 3,500 people there in Las Vegas last week. Thank you for the 22 years of support the district has given me on Corbs, California Water Environment Association, Tri-State Seminar. For Corbs and Tri-State, I've got 21 years on Corbs and 18 years on Tri-State. And we help provide the training for not only our operators, but operators in California and Nevada, Arizona and stuff. It's been a fun project working on the regional plant. And as you can tell, I'm getting a little older. You know, I'll be here at least 4 more years, see that new plant up and running and get it well staffed and everybody trained. Then in 2026, I'll be retiring. So thank you for all the support over the years.
Oh, thank you, Lee. Thank you, Brian. And then in an awkward situation, I would like to say just a few words of thanks, basically, for the 17 years that I have been with the district. I have never loved a community like I love this one. And I can say that I often say that I serve the people that serve the people. Many of these people in this community have 2, and some of them have 3 jobs. They're the hardworking people that make this nation great. And I've dedicated my life to the environment and to the disadvantaged communities. And I've tried to leave these every place that I've worked. This will be the 4th district that I've run. And I want to leave it in better shape than when I got here. And more so, I want to leave it in a condition that is beneficial for the future generations. It's hard to accomplish that, but I think we've done that. So with that, thank you very much, Mission Springs Water District. And
I'm next.
oh, I see there, I'm supposed to pass it on.
Yeah.
To-
So your comments were well said and appreciated. On behalf of my fellow board members, I'd like to thank General Manager Wallem for his years of service to the district and the customers we serve. We have seen tremendous growth in the past 17 years, not only in our physical presence, but also in our operations and how we serve our customers. Arden has spearheaded much of this growth. He has fought for our district, going toe-to-toe with much larger districts, protecting our residents, and always having their best interests in mind. He's expanded our groundwater protection efforts, bringing in millions of dollars in grants and outside money to defray the cost of our septic to sewer system program, and most recently helped us to secure funding for the new regional water reclamation facility, which will protect the groundwater and pave the way for generations to come. In an overall assessment of his performance, I would say he represents outstanding leadership. And let's say throughout his tenure at the district, he has looked out for the financial districts of our residents, paying down our debt and building our reserves so that we can continue to grow and serve the people. I can't thank you enough for your dedication, Arden. And with that said, we will now close out our HR report and move to our action items, starting with number 7. Okay. Resolution 2022-22. It's a resolution authorizing remote teleconference meetings of the legislative bodies for the Mission Springs Water District for the period August 23rd, 2022 through September 21st, 2022, pursuant to provisions of the Ralph M. Brown Act. It's recommended to approve the resolution 2022-22, continuing teleconferencing meetings for the period August 23rd through September 21st. Are there any questions concerning that resolution or any statements at all?
No, but I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? We have a motion and a second.
Who
Have a roll
seconded
call vote.
that? Please use your microphones. Thank you.
Could I have a roll call vote, please?
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Wright,
Aye.
President Martin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Item 8, public hearing report on public health goals. It is recommended to conduct a public hearing to receive public comment on the public health report. And let's see, I have that here somewhere. Yes. This is the time and place fixed to solicit the public's input in respect to Mission Springs Water District's report on public health goals. The public hearing will be declared open and staff will give their reports. I will then call for comments from the public. And during this time, there will be no back and forth conversation between the public and the board and staff. All questions will be noted and will be addressed after all public comments have been received. The public hearing will then be closed and the board may have a discussion if necessary. I declare this public hearing open. Secretary's report, please.
Notice of public hearing was published to the Desert Sun on July 29th and August 5th, 2022. To date, there have been no comments or protests on this item.
Okay. Staff report, Brian?
Yes, thank you, President Martin. In addition to the staff report that was included in your packet, we do have a short PowerPoint presentation to go over some of the key points. Talking about the reporting requirements that are part of this document. Next slide, please. Yes, thank you. Provisions of the California Health and Safety Code specify that public water systems greater than 1,000 service connections 10,000 service connections prepare a public report every 3 years if their water quality measurements exceed a public health goal. I believe it's instead of service connections, it may be population instead of service connections. The purpose of this report is to provide customer access to information regarding the levels of various contaminants, even if they are below enforceable mandatory maximum contaminant levels, and to provide an estimate of the cost to either reduce the constituent level or eliminate any trace of it from drinking water, regardless of how minimal the risk may be. In addition to the staff report, you'll find 5 different pieces of information that are important as far as this report goes. The actual report itself, which was completed by staff, which is water quality relative to public health goals. Our consumer confidence report, an excerpt from the California Health Safety Code, section 116470, a suggested guideline document for preparing reports on public health goals from Aqua, and also a health risk information for public health goal exceedance reports. So as far as reporting the contaminants, only contaminants that have an existing MCL or minimum contaminant level and detected at a level that exceeds the public health goal. Or if there is no public health goal, which is established by the state of California, the federal maximum contaminant level goals need to be included within this report. All contaminants that as of December 31st, 2021, have preliminary drinking water standards set by California and equivalent public health goals or the federal maximum contaminant level goals needs to be listed. It does not include contaminants such as radon, for which the US EPA has considered adopting an MCL, nor does it include any contaminants the Department of Drinking Water plans to regulate in the future, specifically Chrome 6. So of those 3 constituents that are between the public health goal and the maximum contaminant level, 3 were part of our report: arsenic, uranium, and fluoride. You'll see the public health goal in the 2nd column. You'll see maximum contaminant level in the 3rd. And then the last one would be what we actually tested or the limits that we found in our drinking water. That concludes my report.
Okay. And we presently have no members of the public wishing to speak on this item. Is that correct?
President Martin, Pamela Edmondson is on the line.
Okay.
Depending on the staff report, she believes she may have some questions.
Okay.
Pamela, do you have questions for the board?
Well, I have one comment and one kind of question. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay. My comment here is that I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, which has very good artesian wells, even though they get 10 times almost the rain that we do. The drinking water comes from artesian wells deep in the earth. And when I was probably maybe 4 or 5 years old, they started adding fluoride to the water. Now, dentists tell me that my teeth are not quite as white and they're very porous, that maybe that was the reasoning for it, maybe also taking antibiotics. But still, fluoride, is it, that dangerous? I mean, it was put into our water there in Memphis, which was very good tasting water, and even with the fluoride in it. So that's my comment. And then my last, my question, and this may, after you get through discussing it, there are several, a few wells here and there that do have the contaminants. Is it likely that you will be doing anything to, change that situation? And that's all I have.
Okay, General Manager Wallem, do you care to address her?
Well, yeah, I can tell you that right now, we are not going to serve any water that doesn't meet the standard. And when we find that there is a standard set up, we will comply with whatever standard they put in place. I don't know what else can we.
We don't add any.
We don't have any.
Fluoride, no.
Yeah, fluoride, yes.
That was one of our main concerns was fluoride. We do not add fluoride to our water system.
No, we do not.
No,
Okay,
Fluoride is naturally occurring in many groundwater areas, and it was added where it is not present. So there are some places in the United States where it is added,
Okay.
other places where it's naturally
And
occurring like it is here.
and it's difficult to explain this, but in some cases it's like chlorine. You don't necessarily have to, but we have a restriction that says you need to maintain it, and the other agencies may require that we put fluoride in the water, but in this case, no, we have pretty safe water, and fluoride has never really been an issue for our constituents or our customers.
okay.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
I've always been told that it's the perfect amount of fluoride because fluoride is good for your teeth at a certain level. But like our hot water, mineral
Yes.
water has high fluoride counts. And I know people who lived around here, grew up as kids, and it was really, it ruined their teeth, hard on their teeth. Yes, when fluoride is too high. But our water so far, Mother Nature has put the perfect amount into it.
Any other questions or comments from the board, Randy? Ivan?
Yeah, I just had a couple. I know we go through this process about every 3 years or so. These three contaminants that we have mentioned, are those levels staying pretty consistent over the years, or are we seeing any kind of increases?
For the most part, they are staying consistent. However, there are a couple of wells that over the years that have tested above the uranium limits. Therefore, we have added treatment at those facilities. So this is for the main system. We did have a uranium treatment facility at a couple of our well locations, but those limits those levels have continued to basically trend down to a point where we no longer have to treat, or those wells are now out of service. So we are actually now under the maximum contaminant for all of our active wells.
And the result of that is that the water that we are drinking meets the standard.
Thank you.
Is that it?
So, another question, I'm sorry, this is Pamela again. So there won't be any treatments that's done to the wells that are showing a low excess of the contaminants?
Well, we can't say that now. I think that if it requires the treatment, we will implement treatment. I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to predict. If the standard changes, then we'll need to provide, if we need to, provide the treatment necessary in order to get that water under the standard, in compliance with the standard.
Okay. Anything else? Seeing no further speakers, I hereby declare the public hearing closed. Is there any additional discussion by the board? Seeing none, I'll take a roll call vote to receive and file the report. Dory, could you conduct a roll call?
We don't need
vote?
a motion or a second, Mr. Pinckney?
Well, it's not legally required, but it's a good practice to make sure you've got a first and a second. I assume you will.
Okay, well, okay. Did anybody want to?
I'll move the item.
Okay, move the item. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Director Sewell,
Yes?
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Wright,
Aye.
President Martin.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion carries.
okay. Item 9, Fourth Amendment to Public Water System Improvement and Water Service Connection Fee Credit Reimbursement Agreement between Skyborne Ventures LLC and Mission Springs Water District. It is recommended to authorize the general manager to execute the Fourth Amendment to public water system improvement and water service connection fee credit reimbursement agreement between Skyborne Ventures LLC and Mission Springs Water District and file with the official records of Riverside County. Is there anything further beyond what we were told on Thursday you want to address?
Not that I can think of.
Anything further?
No, I know we have one member of the public that may not have heard our description on Thursday. So if you mind, I can give a short summary of what the staff report says and what we're asking for, President. Is there two?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yes, thank you, President Martin. The district and the developer desire to amend certain terms of the agreement on the terms and conditions set forth herein to allow the developer to continue developing the project and to provide for a timely and satisfactory completion of certain improvements which were required by the original agreement and necessary for adequate water service by the district for what we consider the 1530 zone of the Skyborne development. In lieu of the design and construction of well 36, the developer shall deposit a total of $5 million at specified times as described in the Fourth Amendment. That concludes the summary of my report. I can ask any questions.
Any questions from the board? Any comments, questions?
No, thank you.
Seeing none? Okay. Then I will entertain a motion to approve item 9. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. To have a roll call vote, please.
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Wright,
Aye.
President Martin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay, the much anticipated item 10, process to fill board vacancy. It is recommended, let's see, let me go first to this informational item on item 10. Action item 10, the board discussion and direction to staff, intent to seat new director prior to the September meeting. Number 1, to determine whether to make an appointment to the board vacancy or defer the action to the Riverside County Board of Supervisors. The board has 60 days from the effective date of the resignation, August 16th, 2022, plus 60 days equals Saturday, October 15th, 2022, to appoint a new director. An alternative is not to make the appointment and allow the vacancy to be filled by the Riverside County Board of Supervisors. Staff will provide the legal notice of the county registrar of voters after today's meeting and decisions by the board. Is there any discussion on this part of the procedure? Okay. I'm going to move on to part 2, because I don't know that I can give directions to staff until we hear the entire part 2. Board has 60 days to fill the vacancy. This timeline takes into consideration the needed time for posting the notice of vacancy, accepting applications, and holding a special meeting for candidate interviews and seating a new director in time for September study session or regular meeting. If a new director is seated at the study session, he or she will be able to fully participate in the September meetings. GC section 1780 requires the notice of vacancy to be posted in 3 conspicuous locations. Staff suggests the administration building, the Desert Hot Springs Library, City Hall, and of course, our website. If posting is made on Tuesday, August 16th, the 15-day deadline would be 5 p.m. on Tuesday, August 31st. Directors will be emailed the application packets on Tuesday, September 6th for perusal after verification of eligibility. In the event there are more than a reasonable number of candidates to interview, directors may be asked to narrow the field by submitting their top 2 candidates. We will determine a date and time for the special meeting for interviews. Suggested dates are Tuesday, 9/13/2022 from 1 to 5 p.m. Second date is Wednesday, 9/14/2022, 1 to 5 p.m. Third date is Thursday, 9/15, the morning prior to study session. With that in mind, I would like to hear a motion on whether or not to appoint a person to fill a board vacancy and to post notice of the vacancy, inviting applicants to apply to fill the vacancy, with interviews to be conducted and the appointment to be made to fill a board vacancy on or after September board meeting, or whether or not to notify the county elections official of a board vacancy and to post notice of the vacancy and have them appoint a person to the board. So with that in mind, are we going to move ahead with an appointment or referral to the County Board of Supervisors? That's the first order of business. So I'll entertain a motion.
Can I make a comment and then? a
Sure,
motion?
sure, go ahead.
All right. In, I believe it's 2005. Is that when we first came on, Arden? 2005.
Exactly.
I was appointed to this board to fill the seat of Ivan's grandfather, Jack Webb. 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. How long ago were you first appointed to the board?
That would have been in 2010.
2010, and then ultimately Ivan Sewell was, 17, was initially appointed to the board. So 3 of the 4 of us were appointed. I don't think you've ever been appointed. You've always won elections. I think those appointments have turned out well. If I do pat myself on the back for that, but I think those appointments have turned out well. This board has made good decisions. So my recommendation and motion would be for the existing board to appoint a director to fill my seat.
Okay. Before we move on to a second, is there members of the public that wish to address this item?
May I ask, this is Pamela again, may I ask a question?
Sure.
Can the person that's appointed must they be from the same district that Randy was from?
Yes, it would have to be somebody who resides in the same district that Randy currently
Okay,
Division.
sits
okay,
in.
thank you. I think you need to make that clear.
Yeah,
Thank
okay, thank you. Okay, with that in mind, then I'll entertain that you made the motion. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, do I hear a second? I'll
Second.
second that. I'll second the motion on there. So can we have a roll call vote?
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Wright,
Aye.
President Martin.
Yes,
Thank you. Motion carries.
okay.
Sadly.
So if anybody needs clarification on that process, I know it's a little confusing, probably due to my presentation, but at any rate, you can reach out to our general manager who can give you the details on the process if you're interested in applying. Item 11, second amendment to general man-
1 minute, please, 1
Yeah.
minute.
Okay,
Charlie and I, since we have decided to go forth with appointing someone new, and I'm not sure this is appropriate time or place for it, but Charlie and I would like to say a very special thank you to Randy for serving. And we would like to sing him a very special little song, for he's a jolly good fellow. And if anyone would like to join in, please do so.
Pamela,
For he's a
Pam-
jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow,
which
that
nobody can
can
deny.
deny.
Yay.
Thank you all very much. That was too much.
Pamela,
Yes,
we love you. Okay,
Oh,
thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
We didn't think he got enough embarrassment yet.
Oh, shoot.
Oh. yeah,
Okay,
this is in protest too, because you wouldn't let us come and sing it in person. But
well, darn it. Okay,
but thank you. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
okay, moving on to item 11, second amendment to the general manager's chief engineer employment agreement. If so desired, approve the general manager's chief engineer employment agreement. Item 11. Arden Wallen.
Uh-oh.
Are they just talking about an evaluation? Is that what we're talking about? Okay, employment agreement. Go ahead. Who's going to do the?
So I'll do it. Arden, you should, since we're voting on your contract, you should probably step out while we vote on it.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I now know what we're talking about. I didn't classify it as an employment agreement. Thought it was a compensation package, but okay. All right, he stepped out.
So in your packet, you have a document titled Second Amendment to General Manager Chief Engineer Employment Agreement. And it would become effective on today's date. And the major change in there is the salary has been adjusted to $265,356 per year. And that's really the only change of significance in the agreement. It's a very
Okay.
short document, if you want to look at it.
May I point out, Counselor, that that represents a 9.2 cost of living increase, which is the same cost of living increase we provided to our other employees, although not to that amount of money, but it was a 9.2% increase cost of living.
That's correct.
And can I make a comment too?
Yes.
It also brings his salary up to the level.
Vice
of-
President Wright, your mic, please.
It was on, sorry, I guess it wasn't close to me. I just wanted to say that, that it brought his salary level up to match other general managers with similar situations, to bring it up to what they were at pretty much. Not all the way though. We didn't go up all the way.
Yeah, the initial discussion was to pay him an average of the surrounding jurisdictions, and it was decided after some discussion to revert to a cost of living increase, which doesn't bring him up to an average, but close. And one of the things that's important to understand is if we aren't competitive in what we pay our employees, then all we are is a training ground to supply other agencies with outstanding personnel. So we want to be competitive. The people who live in our community, our jurisdiction, deserve quality people working here to provide this service. And I think that we've accomplished that. We have an amazing group of people working here with an amazing leader in our general manager. So with that in mind on here, I will entertain a motion to approve the general manager, chief engineer's employment agreement.
I'll move it.
Second?
Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Wright,
Aye.
President Martin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay, you can bring Arden back in if you would, please. No, I saw him walk back towards the break room. Of course, there's a bathroom back there too, but did we find him? There we are. Okay, all right. That motion has been approved, Arden, for your general information, so,
Good. Thank you very much.
okay. Items 12 and 13, the first 12 Mission Springs Regional Water Reclamation Facility update. There will be no presentation today. Item 13, Critical Services Center and Administration Building update. There will be no update on that item as well. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
No.
Okay, anything further from our general manager?
Nothing more.
Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda. Item 14, approval of minutes for July 14th, 2022. And also the register of demands totaling $3,471,660.68.
Also move. consent
Okay,
agenda.
we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Director Sewell,
Yes.
Director Duncan,
Yes.
Vice President Wright,
Aye.
President Martin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to item 16, director's reports. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was the only one that didn't provide a report. So if there are no objections, I'll go ahead and give my report. On the 5th of July, the city council meeting, Chief Henson introduced the new dispatchers staffing the new communications facility and the Desert Hot Springs Police Department's comfort dog, whose name is Albert. With respect to the dispatchers, I heard numerous complaints, and I don't work for the police department. And I heard numerous complaints about people who wanted police assistance and had to go through our contract, I believe it was with Cathedral City, for dispatch services, and they felt that that was not an efficient way of dispatching calls. So from now on, the local police department is going to have their own dispatch center. There was a housing element report, progress report, a general plan annual progress report, and the amendment to the ordinance of short-term vacation rentals. On the 7th, the Desert Valley Builders Association legislative meeting, Assembly Bill 2840, which are restrictions on warehouse development. The interesting thing brought up, and they didn't go into detail, but the interesting thing brought up was it only applies, and this is an assembly bill for the entire state, that it only applies to the Coachella Valley. Now, why that assembly bill would restrict that only to the Coachella Valley, I have no idea. Moving on to the 9th, the Corb's dinner. We've already reported on that. There was a very great evening with this water district being recognized again for outstanding work. On the 12th of July, Riverside County Board of Supervisors meeting, there was an ordinance on short-term rentals and a discussion on probation officer staff shortage, a report on the investigation and recommendations for the improvement of the Department of Social Services, Child Protective Services, an example of the department's failure to protect the Turpin children, highlighting a grand jury report and an ad hoc committee implementing improvements. That, from what I've read in the paper and what I've heard in the meeting, was a disaster. On the 21st, Countywide Oversight Board, there were 2 properties sold to the city of San Jacinto. On the 26th, Riverside County Board of Supervisors, there was a couple of public comments on code enforcement. There was a public hearing of $500 million project that was approved for a development by Fred Noble, $500 million. Now, this is the interesting part. There was a public comments on short-term rental, and compare this to the public comments that took place at our city council meeting. The public comments on short-term rentals, there were 66 public speakers on short-term rentals. And then they wound up postponing action on the item until September. I have a confession to make. I did not sit through all 66 public comments. On 7/28, Desert Valley Builders Association networking night, nothing to report there. And on the 25th, I sat in as chair of the Cabot's Museum Foundation concerning a number of issues before the board, nothing to report to our board. And with that, is there anybody who wants to add or anything based on their meetings they've attended or?
I have a question.
Sure.
On those 66 comments?
Yeah.
Did you ever get a breakdown of how many were for and how many were against?
It was fairly evenly divided. There were people that were pursuing that, and they had their, it was pretty evenly divided.
Wow.
I was surprised that the people, generally the people that were people that had a vested interest in the economics of the subject. And those that were opposed to it were basically neighbors of existing short-term rentals who were very much up against it. So.
And if I may add a small note,
Sure.
You mentioned the dispatch center for Desert Hot Springs
Right.
Police Department. They're actually having an open house tonight from
That's right.
5 o'clock
5
till
o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Right. If anybody-
I think food and refreshments, and you can see the new dispatch center.
You'll be sure and report on that when you go, right?
I can't make it.
Sure. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, with that, we're gonna take a little bit of a break here while we have
President Martin,
yes.
the general manager report includes a public affairs update.
Yes.
Oh, I'm
We should do
sorry.
it on
I did
Thursday.
not. Yes, we did not do that on Thursday, and
Okay, I'm sorry.
kind of leads into what I think you want to do anyways.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to ask Marion to take it from here.
Oh, all right.
Thank you, General Manager Wallem, and good afternoon, President Martin, and members of the board. I have a PowerPoint that I'd like to share with you today that will highlight some of our efforts during the last month. Additional information is available in your General Manager's update in your packet. As part of our 9 Cities Blood Challenge, MSWD hosted live stream blood bank in July. We had more than 15 life-saving donations during the event that all counted towards the Desert Hot Springs tally in the 9 cities competition. MSWD also participated in a special back-to-school night last week at Cabot Yurtsa Elementary School. Students and their families were there to meet with their teachers, and the school invited agencies like MSWD to come out and share resources with the families. It was a very warm afternoon, but we visited with about 150 children and their families during the event. I'm also pleased to share that we have confirmed the dates for the winter series of the Water 101 sessions. Classes will again be held at the Desert Hot Springs Library on October 20th, November 10th, December 8th, and January 19th. We will be promoting the signups through our local clubs and also on our social media to invite members of the general public. As we are also holding our annual calendar drawing contest to solicit local students' artwork that illustrates water conservation and groundwater protection. Students from K through 12 throughout the district are being encouraged to participate. 12 winners will receive an Amazon gift card and have their artwork showcased in the district's 2023 community calendar. The deadline for those submissions is October 3rd. More information and a copy of the entry form is available on the district's website at mswd.org/drawing contest. The summer issue of our MSWD customer newsletter, Water Matters, is currently in production and features topics such as the Regional Water Reclamation Facility groundbreaking, water conservation, and how to use your new Customer Connect portal to save water. We are also featuring rebates, the calendar drawing contest that I mentioned before, and the new low-income household water assistance program. This edition of Water Matters is already being inserted in the August statements and should be hitting the streets and in customers' hands any day now. In support of the new drought restrictions, we're also reaching out to local hotels and restaurants to offer them free table tents and materials with water conservation messaging. We are continuing to reach out to these businesses and market our rebates, and we will also continue to make additional materials available to them in the coming months. And finally, the part of my update that I'm sure you've all been waiting for, which is our video preview. We're continuing to promote our MSWD video series on our social media sites, and I've also been working with staff and our video team to put together a new plan for the 2022-23 year. In general, we're looking to add more humor to these videos, and we will be also varying the length so that we'll have some short, fun ones mixed in with some longer form videos as well. In general, our videos are performing quite well. Our Protect Your Pipes video has had more than 2,500 views, and our water quality report, which launched last month, has more than 1,200 views in just that one short month. With that, I'd like to show you the new summer conservation video.
Welcome to Lifestyles of the Smart and Waterwise. All across Desert Hot Springs and the surrounding area, people are living life to the fullest while conserving water. Let's take a look at how they are reducing water use this summer. The best way to live a lifestyle of the smart and waterwise is to celebrate the desert in Desert Hot Springs. Replace your turf and go with an all-natural look instead.
You'll be amazed at how much money you can save when you switch to desert landscaping.
By incorporating plants already accustomed to a dry environment, you will need far less water to maintain your landscape. And there are plenty of options to add some colour as well. Next, think about the nightlife scene. Irrigating after dark avoids the sizzling summer days when water can be lost to evaporation. By avoiding watering during daylight hours, water has more time to soak into the ground and reach roots, creating healthier landscapes.
By maintaining your irrigation system and setting the timers to go off early in the morning, you can really increase the efficiency.
Have the time of your life with a smart irrigation timer. These devices will turn off after rain and can even adjust watering schedules throughout the year to ensure your plants get what they need to thrive without wasting water. Aim for success. Check your sprinklers to make sure they are pointed at your landscape instead of overspraying on driveways and patios.
You're going to want to make sure that all of your sprinklers are pointing where you want them to. You don't want to be watering a sidewalk or areas that don't have any vegetation.
It's no secret, but if you want to live water-wise, you need to stop those leaks. Check your irrigation system zone by zone for damaged sprinkler heads and pipe breaks.
In the long run, you're conserving water and you're helping the environment.
A clean car always looks more luxurious. Instead of hosing it down in your driveway, take it to a car wash. The water will be recycled, reducing water waste. It will also save time, so you can enjoy the finer things in life.
It's a win-win situation.
That's all for this edition of Lifestyles of the Smart and Water Wise. Until next time, visit MSWD.org for more information about water conservation.
And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for all your time.
Thank you very much, Marion. That was excellent. Very well done. Okay, anything further from our general manager?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Okay. With that, we're going to move on to recognition of outgoing board member Randy Duncan. Yeah. Do we need to sing that song again, Randy?
No, we're good.
We're good? Okay, all right. All right. You know, President George W. Bush said it best. Public service is a noble calling. As I'm sure my fellow directors would agree, the role of a board member is essential to the overall well-being of any public agency. We are the eyes and ears of the community, and we provide oversight and counsel to the district in various capacities. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Director Randy Duncan for his service to Mission Springs Water District and the customers we serve. Director Duncan first joined our board in 2005, serving 4 years before leaving in 2009. But his service did not end there. In 2014, Director Duncan was appointed to complete the term of Director John Brown, whose work required him to move to San Diego. Throughout his 12 years as a director, Director Duncan has chaired and served on several district committees, and his vast knowledge of finance processes and his business experience have made him an invaluable member of the Mission Springs Water District Board. We have a small token of our appreciation for Director Duncan and cake in his honor. However, before we get to that, General Manager Arden Wallem would like to say a few words about Randy.
I probably have more than a few words I would like to say about Director Duncan, but Randy Director Duncan, came on board almost precisely at the same time that I did. And I have enjoyed his input and his love for this community. In fact, he's been a member of Desert Hot Springs community for more than 30 years. And that is, he's not a newcomer. He just loves this community, and he's dedicated a big part of his life to this community. During that time, he has served on the Desert Hot Springs Planning Commission. He's held board positions for us with the Desert Hot Springs Rotary Club and other agencies, the Boys and Girls Club, and the Cathedral City Senior Center. He's always been a positive outreach for us. Since he joined our board, MSWD has transformed into a leader amongst the water purveyors in Coachella Valley. Our reserves have increased from 5 million to over 40 million. After making our final payment to our PERS, we now have zero debt. We have tenaciously gone after and received about $108 million in grants, and have been successful at passing assessment districts that approximate a range of around $40 million. These are just a few of the district's accomplishments that have achieved during Director Duncan's tenure here. Not one to be shy with his opinions, as we know, and he certainly has never always voted the way I've recommended that he vote. He has held staff accountable and has been a firm but fair leader, and I think that is really a compliment to you, Randy. So I now speak for all of us at Mission Springs Water District when I wish you well in your future and thank you for this long tenure serving this community and Mission Springs Water District. So I hand it back to you, President Martin.
Okay. One thing I'd like to add to what General Manager Wallum said is occasionally we on the board are going to disagree with each other, but at least with the members that are here today, you're family, Randy, and you'll always be family, whether you sat on this board or not. We wish you the very best moving forward. And now I'd like my fellow directors who are here in person to join me in front of the dais for a quick photo as we present Director Daughter with this plaque, which I have here, which reads, this heavy thing that's, oh my gosh.
You want the back of your Zoom meets. Whenever you do more.
Anyway, the plaque reads, in recognition and appreciation, Randy Duncan, thank you. A special thank you for your vision, dedication, and commitment while serving as a member of the Mission Springs Water District Board of Directors 2005 to 2009 and 2014 to 2022. So would you like to join me in front of the dais or a picture? If I can get this thing open here.
I'm out of the way. No, you get one with them and that's fine. Need to get one with the board. All right. We have been on this board pretty much the same period of time.
Yeah, I remember.
I haven't been on the board, but I've been working for the board. Yeah.
Here for me. This is a plaque we'd like to, in recognition and appreciation for your service on the board. It's really awesome.
Thank you very much.
You did an awesome job.
If you guys try and smile and while you're shaking, are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yes, you did it, Shay.
It's been a real pleasure and a real honor to have served with you and to have known.
This is not over because there's cake and refreshment right here. So let's go back and take a look at.
First, we gotta get Arden in a photo.
Oh, yeah. I was trying to cut me out.
You know, I'm
Why were you up here to begin with?
You know, he's getting
Right there, you guys. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
And real quick, I gotta say, up until COVID, Nancy and I both have a birthday in October. We got a cake every year. We shared our birthday cakes. Because of COVID, we haven't had them for 2, 3 years. So as well as a goodbye, I want this to be past birthdays
For all of us.
for all of us that we didn't get.
Oh, I didn't see that. Pretty. I like the blue background. That is very nice.
Very nice indeed.
Okay, yeah, we gotta go back.
Do I get a couple of words?
Yeah. Randy, would you like to make a comment or two, or three or four?
I would
5 or 6.
have the bucks.
The bottle, yeah. And the
And
package.
in fact, knowing that, you know, today would be my last day, I started jotting some notes of things I wanted to say, you know, to the staff and the board. And I started writing some more and some more, and I realized it would take me about 20 minutes for a director here to really say, you know, thank you and what a great job you're doing. So I think the best way to sum it up is collectively as a board, those members that are here today, the three of you and myself, first, it's been a privilege and an honor to work and serve with all of you. Something I'll never forget. And like Arden says, we didn't always vote the same, which I think is healthy. Then everybody just yes, 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 or no, no, no. You have to have some different opinions, you know, different attitudes, stuff like that. But the four of us have always gotten along. I might vote no. This is my opinion or my beliefs, and the vote is what it is. We're all adults and we moved on. Life was good. I think the board, you know, for those of us who are here today, truly have the water district's best interest at heart. That is our main focus, and I hope that continues. I know you're going to be getting a couple of new board members here pretty quick. I hope you can continue with the best interest in Mission Springs. And Arden, you know, we came on together. I took that short little break. I won't say things just trudged along, but in the beginning, back in 2005, you know, it was what it was. We pumped water and we had some sewers.
When we first got here, we were facing $2 billion in growth and development.
Right. You know, we had several down economies. We always made it through. We lost a lot of staff, had to cut back, you know, good times, bad times, like a normal business cycle. But part of what I'll bring up in your evaluation, these last 6 to 8 years have been exponentially better and better every year. You know, through your leadership, you have brought in, I don't know how many million, Russ said 100 and some odd millions of dollars in grants.
108.
Over 100.
Yeah.
108 million.
And that's partly because of our trips to DC and Sacramento over the past 20 years, finally coming into play. The sewer assessment districts, the new admin building, the new sewer treatment plant, which you managed to build at virtually no cost to us, not one penny out of pocket for our ratepayers. So it's things like that to just make this district awesome. But like I said, that's been getting exponentially larger and larger, better and better every year. And your whole staff, you know, you've got a great staff.
Yeah, it's primarily the staff and all of us working together.
Yeah, but it takes a leader at the top to do all that. And then whether you want to compare yourself same level as the board or right under or whatever, I think this board has done a tremendous job over the years, and I'd like to congratulate and thank each of you for putting up with me, if you will. And I hope you continue moving forward with the best interests of the district at heart. So I started to say something to each person I wrote, I realized, well, it'd be 20 minutes on each of you, trying to cram it all in and not forget anything. So,
Well, thanks for not doing it.
yeah. So I figured I'll just say thank you to the board. And that's it.
Thank
We
you.
say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Long run. Good
It
run.
has.
too. Good
Good
run.
run.
Good run.
Okay, with that in mind, we're going to break for some refreshments, and then we're going to go into closed session. Okay, I've been informed there will be no district council comments. We'll move on to director's comments. Nancy?
I did them all on Thursday.
Okay, this is not the report. This is just director comments.
Comments. Okay, then I guess I didn't do them on Thursday. I just like to say, Randy, I'll say this in front of everybody. I don't know if they heard me before, but it was a pleasure and an honor working these years with you, knowing you for 30 years in this little town, watching you and me and everybody grow up
Yeah.
in this little town here. And now look at where we are and what the town has become and what Mission Springs Water District has become. And you ought to be proud of the fact that you were part of it. And I'm very pleased that you were, and I'm very sad because you're leaving.
Well, thank you. I'm not going anywhere, but
Well,
thank you.
you're leaving the board.
Yeah, leaving the board.
I'll do an amen for that. And Ivan?
Yeah, I'll just echo what a lot's already been said, but thank you to Randy for all your years of service. And like was mentioned before, just not only Mission Springs, but throughout the community. And it's been great working with you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And again, I've already given a statement earlier on there, but we're going to be lifelong friends, Randy, for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. With that, we'll close and go into closed session. We'll take a 5-minute break.
Bye.
Okay, we're now back in open session. And council, would you report on closed session?
Yes, the board met in closed session. Item number 20, annual public employee performance evaluation pursuant to Government Code Section 54957, title of position, general manager. There was no reportable action taken. There was no discussion on conference with labor negotiators item. That item was not discussed in closed session because the general manager's contract was voted on and approved in the open session and preceded closed session.
Okay.
And then conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, potential initiation of litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4, one potential case. There was no reportable action taken on that item. That concludes the report out.
Okay.
Dory, before you, no, go ahead, close the meeting out. And I just have something I want to ask you, so I don't have to run upstairs.
Of course.
Okay, if there's nothing further on there, we will adjourn the meeting.
Why don't you want to go upstairs?